The wedding day should have been the happiest day of my life. I had spent months planning, making sure every detail was perfect: flowers, guests, dresses, vows. It was supposed to be a celebration of love, a fresh start, a day where my past didn't haunt me. But as I stood there, waiting for the music to start, I could feel my heart thudding against my chest like a drum. And there she was, Karen, my aunt. Her disapproving glare sent a chill down my spine. I had always dreaded this day, not because of the wedding itself, but because of Karen. She wasn't just my aunt. She was the one who raised me after my parents died, but not out of love. No, Karen didn't do things out of love. She did them because she thought she had the right to control me. And it wasn't just me. It was anyone she could get her hands on. And now, she was about to ruin my wedding day. Earlier that morning, Karen had strutted in with her 2 decades outdated beige suit, her obnoxious perfume that stung the air, and that look on her face, the one that said, "I'm the queen of this house, and you're all just peasants." She immediately started picking at everything. The flower arrangements were too cheap looking, the food options were too pretentious, and even the string quartet didn't meet her high standards. It was as if nothing, absolutely nothing, was ever good enough for her. As I looked at her, standing in the corner, arms crossed, scanning every inch of the venue like a hawk, I couldn't help but wonder, why did I invite her? It wasn't like she was ever going to be part of this day. She had never been a mother to Memoir, like a prison warden who never allowed me to be my own person. But here she was, sticking her nose in every corner of my wedding, making sure everyone knew she was in charge. I thought she might calm down when I explained, "Please, Karen, let's not do this today. It's my wedding, it's supposed to be a special day." But no, she wasn't having it. With a smirk that made my blood boil, she looked me up and down. "You think marrying Ethan is going to fix everything? It won't. Men change after the vows. You're too young. You're naive. He's not the man you think he is." The words stung, and for a moment, I almost believed her. But then I remembered Ethan. The man who had been there for me through everything, who stood by me with nothing but love and honesty. And I snapped, "You don't know him. You don't know anything about us." Her expression hardened, and I could see the bitterness in her eyes. She was waiting for me to break, waiting for me to doubt everything. But I wouldn't let her. Not today. Not on my wedding day. I turned to the mirror and caught a glimpse of my reflection. My satin gown fit perfectly, the pearls catching the light as I breathed deeply. The bridesmaids fluttered around me, offering their support, whispering words of excitement and love. I smiled back at them, trying to let go of the tension Karen was building inside me. But her words lingered like poison, and I knew this wasn't over. The ceremony started, and my nerves were eased as I walked down the aisle. I saw Ethan waiting for me, his smile warm, his eyes filled with love. In that moment, everything else faded. The world felt like it was slowing down. But then, just as I reached Ethan, Karen's voice pierced the air. "She doesn't know what she's getting herself into," Karen whispered sharply to the woman beside her, loud enough for everyone to hear. The gasp from the crowd was almost drowned out by the string quartet faltering. I couldn't believe it. This was my moment, and she was trying to ruin it. Before I could even process what was happening, Karen stood up. She walked down the aisle with purpose, like she was on a mission. And then she did it. She slapped me. Hard. The force of it sent my head whipping to the side. My bouquet slipped from my hands, scattering petals across the aisle. I stood frozen, my cheeks stinging, my heart racing. There was complete silence for a moment, but then the gasps came. The murmurs. The shock. I could hear Ethan's mother gasp from the front row. The bridesmaids' faces were all frozen in disbelief. But Karen didn't seem to care. She stood over me, her chest rising and falling, eyes wild, like she had just won some twisted victory. Before I could react, Ethan was there. He stepped in front of me, standing tall, his jaw clenched in fury. "If you want to play dirty, Karen," he said, his voice low but full of rage, "fine. But you're not the only one with secrets." And just like that, the air shifted. The tension in the room became palpable. Everyone was on edge, waiting for what came next. Karen's smug expression faltered, and I could see the cracks in her armor. Ethan took a deep breath and began, "I didn't want to do this, Karen. This was supposed to be a day of love, not whatever this is. But the truth doesn't stay buried forever." Karen scoffed. "What truth, Ethan?" That I've been the only one in this family willing to say what needs to be said. She laughed mockingly, but it didn't have the same effect anymore. No, Ethan shot back. The truth is that you've been stealing from Leela for years. Her inheritance gone. Money that should have been there for her future mysteriously disappeared when you were her guardian. The room went dead silent. Everyone turned to look at Ethan, and I could feel their eyes on me, waiting for confirmation. My heart pounded in my chest. Karen's face went pale. She opened and closed her mouth, struggling to find words. But there was nothing. Ethan pulled out documents from his jacket, his hands steady despite the storm swirling inside me. We hired a forensic accountant. And what we found was, well, it's all here. He pulled out sheet after sheet, revealing forged signatures, shell companies, and fraudulent withdrawals. Karen tried to deny it, but it was too late. It's not a lie. It's the truth. And we have the proof to back it up. Leela could take you to court and win everything back plus interest. But she didn't want to cause more drama. She didn't want to destroy the family. I couldn't speak. My mind was reeling. I never knew this about Karen. Never imagined she was capable of something so cruel. But hearing Ethan lay it all out, I realized just how much of my life had been a lie. Karen's composure finally cracked. She turned to the crowd, desperate now. I gave her everything. I took her in. I gave her a roof, food, clothes. What else was I supposed to do? Ethan's voice was steady, calm, but cold. You kept her small. You controlled her. And you did it for your own benefit. That's not love. That's manipulation. Karen couldn't take it anymore. She dropped the mic, and security was quick to escort her out. The room was electric with whispers, but no one stopped her. Not one person tried to defend her. It was over. I looked at Ethan, my heart full. He stepped forward, brushing my hair away from my face. I'm sorry it came to this, but I couldn't let her hurt you anymore. I smiled, my voice shaking. You protected me when no one else did. The ceremony continued. We exchanged vows, not just as a couple, but as two people who had faced down a lifetime of struggles and came out on the other side stronger. The rest of the evening was a blur. Laughter returned. Conversations resumed. The tension from earlier slowly dissipated, and the joy of the day came back in full force. But as I danced with Ethan, surrounded by family and friends, I realized something. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a declaration. A declaration that no matter how entitled or manipulative could ever take away my joy again. The night ended with a final toast. The staff, the guests, the people who had stood by Methy all raised their glasses. And for the first time, I wasn't just the orphan girl who was passed from one relative to the next. I was me. Strong. Unbreakable. Loved. And Karen? She was gone. Just a shadow in the past. So here's the question. What would you do if you had to face someone like Karen in your life? Would you stand up and fight, or let them continue to control you? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more tales of resilience and redemption.